Yeah, that's very good.
It'd just be a longer process.
Yeah, you can drive. Amos was born in Tucson on May 21, 1934. During World War II, he would ride his bicycle to the train station as the returning servicemen for their military patches as they disembarked from the trains. Throughout his life, Buddy remained an avid collector. This is one of the largest collections in the United States and was personally assembled by him. The entire collection was donated to the Pima Air and Space Museum shortly before his death on November 12, 1990. And we have Philippine Air Force. Subs. What is that? Starts at 11:30. So tram tours.
That'll be from commercial, civilian, military, and search and rescue. So a good little variety we'll get in today. Now this will be around 40-ish, 45-ish minutes. Going to be carrier-based planes that perform the same jobs as land-based combat planes, fighters, and bombers. But they do also have to incorporate strengthened structures, withstand the forces of being catapulted off the carrier decks, and yanked to a stop when landing on the ship. Largest bomber in U.S. history. We're discussing this later in detail once we go down our bombers, so we'll go over more bombers that way. We'll come back around, but I always like to point out helicopter. It's an Army VIP transport helicopter. And it carried Presidents Eisenhower, Kennedy, and Johnson between the years 1960 and 1964. And then beginning in 1964, all presidential helicopter operations were transferred to U.S. Marine Corps instead of the Army to carry United States presidents. First one we'll take a look at today is going to be the military adaptation of the Boeing 707 airliner, which the Air Force called it the VC-137B. And this one was introduced to the presidential aircraft fleet in 1959. Second of 5 VC-137s to serve the executive branch. 15.
It's training.
The H version with the black and yellow tail markings features a larger fuselage and updated weaponry. This one's also the last non-radar equipped Sabre to put into service. Then right next to it we have the L version. which was a radar-equipped interceptor version of the Sabre. Nose, different shape of the nose, which does house the radar equipment compared to the H version, which doesn't. So it's kind of cool to see the two side by side and compare the differences. Tested in 1964, which then eventually led to the first production of the Harriers in 1969. Now, all these aircraft were made in England, and they served in the British Royal Navy, the Air Force, or with the United States Marine Corps. These in use, and all of these were in use. All of these have been in use in some point of their life. So, yeah, it's cool to learn about the stories of different planes. But yeah, so all of these have been in use. All of these have seen their time. But yeah, RB-1 Conestoga. It was built during World War II. A little story behind the plane itself. The U.S. government believed there would be a shortage of aluminum available to build aircraft. So they're looking for designs for aircraft made from what were called non-strategic materials. This generally referred to wood. The Boeing company, at the time they made railway cars, and they experimented to spot welded stainless steel, which you see on the plane up in the world, which is why we can't find the parts for the plane. But hey, you never know. You know, we might come across them one day, but yeah, it's one of a kind. It's one of its kind still around, so definitely a very, very rare aircraft, and it's just cool. Aircraft here were built and designed to provide transportation for individuals. And many of these airplanes were actually sold as kits that pilots would then build themselves in their own backyards. S2A crop duster. And aircrafts like these, they're used in the agricultural industry to spray fertilizers and pesticides on crops and farmlands. Flying involved in aerial application or crop dusting. Many airliners were designed as seaplanes because airports were not yet common. Lakes, rivers, and oceans made as useful substitutes. It can hold 15 passengers and a crew of 3, so 18 people it can hold. And this one did fly for Inter-Island Airways in Connie due to newly built airports during World War II. Connie is a silver plane right with the words Trans World Airlines with a TWA in red. One of the first long-range civilian airliners to go into service after the war. Also, this one is the 10th Connie to be ever produced. So it was the 10th one in the production line. And now, it's the oldest Connie out of all the Connies. Graph with A&A on the tail is the Boeing 787 Dreamliner. Currently, one of the new airliners from Boeing. This one is the first jet airliner not constructed of aluminum. Instead, is nearly 80% carbon fiber composites. And advances in engines and wing shape. It does make it one of the more fuel-efficient and cost-effective jet airliners to have been made. From September 1948 to January 1949. Hercules, one of the more popular cargo planes to have been made. And the military and civilian use heavy in these fields, and they've been around since the 50s, and they're still in production today. So you'll still see them flying around every so often, so it's pretty cool. They're still in production. South Pole by using large sleds on the landing gear for taking off and landing in the snow or the ice. Guppy, the very large white aircraft with the inflated fuselage. Built combining parts from a 377 airliner and Air Force C-97 for NASA in the 1960s. First Guppy out of 5 to have been made. Planes. One of the planes that Super Guppy was designed from is the C-97 Straddle Freighter by Boeing. Now the Boeing C-97 was developed at request by U.S. Army Air Forces for a transport aircraft based off the B-29. Did first fly in 1945 and proved very successful and a versatile aircraft. So much so Boeing modified, designed slightly to create their first post-war airliner. That was a Boeing 377. Of a very good aerial refueling aircraft, the KB-50 Super Fortress, the polished silver one here on the left-hand side. One of our better examples of an aerial refueling aircraft here. Also a large radome underneath the nose of this aircraft that houses the radar. And this dark gray plane is the Avro Shackleton. Makes the Shackleton also unique is because of the use of contra-rotating propellers, in which two propellers in line with each other turn in opposite directions. Makes propellers more efficient, provides more power compared to just having one single propeller. Way to attack industrial and military targets far away from the front lines of battle. Raids of World War I gave way to huge air battles of World War II, with thousands of aircraft battling through the skies of Europe and Asia. The development of the atomic bomb at the end of World War II gave new importance to the development of even larger and longer range bombers. Bomber indeed.
Largest bomber. Largest bomber.
Painted green and the gray. Later version of the plane that was introduced in 1959, served until 1994. Also, this one did serve the 1991 Gulf War with Iraq. Participating at the time was the longest combat mission flown in history. On the first night of the Gulf War in January 1991, this aircraft right here and others flew from Barksdale Air Force Base, that's in Louisiana, non-stop to Iraq, and then back to Louisiana. We have here on display at the museum. This version began flying in 1956 and was the main version of the aircraft used in the Vietnam War. Famously black on the bottom and green camouflage on top, since members of the North Vietnam were flown at night. And from 1962 to 1974, the United States dropped over 7 million tons of bombs on Vietnam, Laos, and Cambodia. Germany, Great Britain, Poland, and the Soviet Union, consisting of trainers, fighters, and fighter bombers. First plane we're going to take a look at today is going to be the Fallen Gnat, the bright green plane on the right-hand side. This one was made as a trainer for the British Royal Air Force in 1959. Also, the second or fourth, this one is the fourth of 6 prototypes that have been built and tested before the aircraft did officially go into production in MiG-15 in the early 50s. And all these aircraft were made for the Soviet Union. And many examples here were actually built in other countries like Poland and China. And we do see the evolution, not the evolution, but we do see the different spans of the different aircraft over the different years. And the last one's going to be a MiG-29 Interceptor introduced in the late 1980s. Still in use today. Looks very familiar to an American aircraft, too. Helicopters design takeoff and land vertically, thus eliminating need for large open areas. These have had extensive use in the military, as well as civilian use as well. First helicopter we'll take a look at today in our tour is going to be the green one with the red cross on the nose. It is the Bell UH-1 Huey, one of the more widely used and popular helicopters of all time. And the Huey was used by the U.S. Army during the Vietnam War, and it became one of the symbols of American involvement in the war. It's the Sky Crane. And in the 1960s, the Army was looking for heavy lift helicopters capable of carrying large objects, like artillery, vehicles, and large amounts of other cargo. It is capable of carrying up to 27,000 pounds. And the logging and construction industries. So still very much in use today. You still see them doing their job, doing their thing. Another very important helicopter. It is the Bell HH-1N Iroquois. Or called the Twin Huey because upgrade had 2 engines and a larger, longer cabin compared to the original Huey we did see a little bit ago back there. And it serves as a VIP transport for the U.S. Marine Corps.
Space race. Here for a long time.
The one I have
The one you have in your house?
no, yeah.
And this guy is the spy. He's right here in Tucson, Arizona, this guy.
and you can see the airplane. It's well lit, but you can look into it. But I would continue on and get to that mural where it shows you where the 10 guys are. That's on the wall, that mural. And then at the nose of the mural, turn right and take up the far stairs way over there. And then come all the way around upstairs, bypass these, and come down those stairs. That's why I'm pointing them out now.
That's it. 27 gallons.
You change it.
Oh, you changed it? Yeah, I see.
Inside. Wow. It's cool.
Thank you. You want to pose with a little...
As fast as they could before they were over knee-deep in hot grass.
South Stratospheric Observatory for Infrared Astronomy. So
He said he likes the Chinese. 11, oh, 8, 11, like, what's the name of it?
Lockheed?
Huh?
Lockheed.
No, that's the big person.
Oh, really? What's
So,
that?
name is,
Oh, it's overhead. It's overhead. Blackbird.
Blackbird. C-17, I believe. Wait,
That's part of the Boneyard.
so many of them. Just just like freaked out. I mean, I bet this is more. There's more planes here than entire North Korea has.
Taiwan. Down Taiwan. Oh, you go inside. Low battery.